There we go. We're good. Hey, good morning. It is Crypto and Coffee with the Trading Bros. It's 9:17 Eastern Standard Time.
War. They were trying to. Russia was trying to blow up the world last night.
Yeah, no kidding, dude. Yeah.
Bro, don't
So
let me take
so
this.
so so then so then
Don't play around the stove, dog. Don't
so
play
then
around the stove.
so then I read an article that one of the building that was on fire for the Ukrainian.
It was like a training building or something.
Yeah, it was just. I mean, it wasn't a critical building to the
That's
nuclear
what they said
reactor.
about COVID. They said, "Oh, it leaked out of a lab." But,
Dude,
the lab was
they're doing everything they can right now to make this good news, but I don't see it
Hey
yet.
man, all I know is if we continue to have high inflation, which we will, this is only going to exacerbate the supply side issue. So they can say, "Oh." Fed can say, "Oh, we're just going to wait for this to inflation to go down because we believe this is a supply side." Well, turkeys, closing up, Black Sea. You got Lamborghinis at the bottom of the ocean. You know what I'm saying? You got all kind of stuff happening on.
It's it's
Okay,
a
so
it's
when's that
a
going to stop?
it's a tough time to be a rich person right now.
It's tough to be rich. It is tough, especially if you're Russian.
Yeah.
Right. Looks like we're going down. So rejected off of the 50, right, which is also in line with this trend line, which is the downward trend line from the highs that we've already made for the year. Not for the year, but for the last high that we made, I would say in this session. Um,
Three rejections
so
off of that 50 EMA right there, man. Boom, boom,
50
boom.
MA, I mean, don't also let's not discount the trend line. People use trend lines. Look, I had this line as a kind of an inter-day, inter-week support resistance. It's already broken below this. So this wick here that we anticipate is going to get taken out. This imbalance here, I think they're gonna slash their way in this area till they get down here, and then that's when we're gonna have maximum fear, relative to some of the things going on. And I think they take one last stab at it. I mean, we've talked about it so many times. Uh, so, but overall, I mean, we're on this kind of in this pattern. We continue to go down. We continue to test these lines. And again, these lines aren't here like this trend line that I'm talking about, the yellow dotted. That's not there to say, okay, let's put a trade there. Those are there to say, okay, people that trade off of TA, they're here, right? They're going to be looking in these areas. So these should be areas of interest for us as well,
So
because
you think they're gonna be looking to go long right there?
I think based upon where we're at now and this last pump that we had, I really don't know. I mean, we're kind of in this, everybody, when we were here, everybody was expecting, and here, kind of a downward push. Then we got news of the war,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then all of a sudden we're pumped. And so all of a sudden now Russia's putting everything into um, crypto. Crypto's being used mainstream. All this stuff in Canada. People, you can't shut down a wallet like you can't, even though MetaMask I think is restricting some of their geographic areas. So let's watch out for that. So you got two school of thoughts. One, you've got this here where people went long here thinking we were going to break out, right? But we didn't, right? We got rejected off this trend line, rejected off the daily EMA as we looked at. Some people are going to be here and say, oh, well, we're going to retouch this line that we broke out from. Let's add to that and move forward. But with all the news that's going on, it's really going to depend on how they. But I think in this area they're going to come down into these areas as well because even these guys here, if they decide to load back on, you're going to want to try to go after their stops again, right? So we may get something like this where we dip down further if we go up. But I would tell you that we probably dip down below, come back up for another false move, maybe take this area out here and then come back down. So that would be my thought process based upon TA. right? If we're looking at, folks that trade off the EMA, everybody was trying to go long based upon this golden cross. I mean, we talked about that last week.
And
And
we
then
talked about that this week as well, and we were like,
this week,
the,
then they
that golden
pushed
cross ain't
up,
the golden cross this week, buddy.
right? They pushed up to try to get those guys that trade off of that cross, got up to these highs. And what we talked about, that man, they're not going anywhere, even though this was a fast move. They weren't going anywhere, and boom, they take out all the guys that are playing the golden cross, right? And now here we are again at this trend line. So I would think that, it depends on how the news spins it, really, what kind of comes out. Speaking of news, we can get to the 1 minute as well, or to the 5 minutes, see what's going to happen today. I mean, we've already had this drop to the downside, but, futures market hadn't opened just yet. So this could be a stop long and then trap some more shorts and then reverse back up and punish those shorts a little bit and clear some room for another drop. I mean, that would be my inclination. I mean, really, we have to see what happens in the next,
30 minutes
30 minutes or so.
You think New York will open with
yeah,
the
30
pump?
minutes, yeah, 30 minutes to an hour, because I mean, we've got this wick that's down here. Generally, they do come back and recover those wicks. So this wick was recovered, this wick was recovered. But seeing as this wick was made during the early part of the session, and we're already kind of reversing here, this could be a stop. But it's 9:27 Eastern time. Futures markets opened up in 3 minutes, so it'll be very interesting to see what happens. Let's jump over. Look at things like funding rate, which I always like to pay attention to what FTX is doing. So FTX is positive, which would indicate they're normally
They're normally negative.
yeah, they're normally negative right before a fall, positive now. So again, we've got some other exchanges that have predicted rate. So I think we'll probably go up from here.
Yeah, we're gonna see some upside. Looks like.
I think we've got some upside.
Whoa.
6.2 billion. So we've eliminated quite a bit of open interest. Let's see. I thought I had opened that other chart, but maybe I closed it. No, here it is. So this is also, kind of what we look at, aggravated CVD spots. So you can see spots falling off. These are subject to change. This is on the 1 hour. This is USDT. This is USD. So I separated those to look for different divergences and what that means, for pricing. So as you can see here, in USD, of course, this is USDT. Most experience, what I would say, traders that are crypto based have USDT as a stable coin. What USD may mean, and I'm just speculating, I don't know, may be either new capital that's coming in or folks that are not liking stable coins, right? And so, may have a different trading pattern relative to that. So these two lines may have different strategies for what they're actually representing. And therefore, I want to look at them independently, but I really haven't come up with anything too conclusive in that, outside of, we've got OI following spot on the USDT as this comes up. So are they buying into all of this that's coming back down, right? This group may also see the USD as more of a strategy as well to hold USD versus USDT. All of that is, will come with time, but I think it's something that if we take a look enough at, if we see some things over time, it may become useful. Economic calendar wise, it is Friday. We had non-farm payrolls that came out. So, which was let's see, the actual was a big, huge, I would say a pretty significant difference. I mean, this may, so we had some European markets, of course, are being tough. And then we're pretty much, let's see what we're coming up with here. If it pulls up anytime. Oh, the market's zero, man. It's crazy. There's nothing going on. Just kidding.
Is your computer broke?
My computer said I need a little bit of a break, dog. You running me too hard. Well, I mean, so that's what I mean. That's so those are the things that I would like to share about ETH. ETH and Bitcoin are pretty much going to run the same. But what else I was thinking? Everybody talks about Bitcoin every day, right? But there's no conversations focused solely on ETH, right? I think ETH has a better return scenario in the long run, even though Bitcoin has a lot more, I think, utility from a macro level. But I think ETH's not going anywhere. But have a balanced portfolio, of course. But I think being focused on ETH is probably not a bad thing. But I think we see maybe a little bit of a pump today. This may be the reason why they're drawing it down now, so the pump can go back up to where we just were, right? And then trap some shorts, getting back up to daily opens, things of that nature, and then bring that back down coming into next week. I would find it surprising if people were willing to hold the risk over the weekend after what happened last night.
Yeah, no kidding, right? That was a very gut wrenching drop. You remember we had a few of our friends text us, I lost $10,000.
Yeah, and try to have dinner and lost $10,000.
Yeah. Man, okay, so pay really close attention when you see these big guys start showing up. That is normally a possible sign of a reversal. But we also did break down for chart patterns a little. We didn't break the low. No, yeah, we just did. We broke the low that we hit last night. So I would anticipate some continuation to the downside. But first, we probably are going to come up back into this 27, 22 range, maybe even get up into the high 7200s just to come get these 100x shorts. They're really good at coming and getting majority of the 100x shorts. They will leave the 50s and the 25x's out there for probably later when they do want to return to the upside. So just keep in mind about that. I'll check Bitcoin out here real quick. So, as you can see here, we have some more reds. We're in the low 40,700 range. And then we can easily, slide back up into the 42,300 range if they wanted to, which I kind of pretty much consistent with the areas that we're looking at with ETH, maybe 41.9. So pay close attention to that. As you can see, we still got some quite a bit of liquidity down here, and that liquidity goes all the way to low 3,700s. So keep in mind, or 37,000s. I mean, so keep in mind here. We are in a current negative trend. This is part of the cycle, the weekly cycle that we've been seeing. Pump the beginning of the week, dump the end of the week. We're only about halfway through this, people. So get ready. I do think we might have a little bit of a small relief bounce, but overall, we're probably going to go down the rest of the day. We'll see what New York happens and does.
I think so too. The more I look at it, the more I don't know if it's going to come back up. And
no, they're really trying to push this down right now. So
let's pull up Bookmap. I'd be interested to see what the levels look like.
Let's see what Bookmap looks like. This is the ETH chart. As you can see, we are weighted pretty heavy to the downside right now. We want to look at some big support and resistance areas for us within Bookmap, where those points are going to be today. As you can see, 2600 is that's a pretty heavy area. We haven't got into that area yet, so pay really close attention once we get in that 2600 range. What happens? Sliding up here to the top, you can see 2850. They don't have a huge wall of significant orders, but 3100, I don't see us going that high for a minute. And when I say a minute, we're probably talking at least a week or two. More stuff to the downside if we want to, if we break.
Yeah, let me see.
So if we break this 2600 range, we have almost 10,000 orders at $2,500.
2,500.
So I would definitely expect a high bounce off of that. And then if we want to go a little bit lower, we had a really nice sell, I think around 2,100, 2,000 yesterday. So you have 2,000 orders, 2,300, 3,000 orders, 2,200. 2,100's got almost 2,000 orders, and 2,000 has 6,400 orders, followed by another.
Look, you got a lot of buyers.
You got a lot of stuff right there in that 2,000 range. So let's just check. Oh, look at who joined us. This is Captain Keaton from Keaton's Corner. We'll be on the show this Saturday or Sunday night, same time. I think we're going to do a stream, a complete live video, so we're going to have to behave ourselves a little bit.
Aye, boys, but only a little bit.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so Captain K, we're just going through our whole technical analysis today. It does look like we think we may get a slight relief bounce, but overall, we're going to be heading to the downside pretty hard the rest of the day, we think.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to put some money on it, which I have,
you got plenty of money on the dough.
I would say that we're going to the downside. Any type of bounce will not be a significant bounce.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see people wanting to hold risk over the weekend with everything. With Rush over there trying to set the world ablaze. If we have another event, I think it's gonna be a catalyst to the downside as well. And I anticipate that we have another event.
100%.
So that pretty much wraps up the charts that we want to look at. We brought our special guest in this morning to talk about some sandbox releases and metaverse releases that are coming up here in the short term. So Captain K, you want to take this over and kind of give us some information?
Well, I'd love to. All right, so what's happening right now in the metaverse? This is really cool. So Sandbox, one of the huge metaverse games, actually is coming out with season 2 yesterday. So that means all these tons of people are going to be able to start playing metaverse games and start getting into the Sandbox, which basically means alt season is upon us, I think. Because everybody's going to start getting into the metaverse stuff, Sandbox. People are going to start getting NFTs. They're going to be getting Terra coins. They're going to be getting tons of cryptocurrency from the Sandbox. So I think that's going to start bringing in a nice little metaverse bull run on all those metaverse coins. Because everybody's going to be playing that game and everybody's going to be getting their rewards.
So when is this release date?
It just opened up yesterday, and it'll be available for basically the next 2 months for you to be playing any type of Sandbox Decentraland game, getting completing quests, and basically winning NFTs and winning cryptocurrency tokens on the Sandbox metaverse.
Super cool. Something important that we saw happen this last year, especially with altcoin dominance, was when Bitcoin dominance was down, and as you can see, Bitcoin dominance is kind of on the decline right now.
Yeah, and you know what that means basically? It's getting ready for alt season.
Yeah,
everything's moving over from Bitcoin and Ethereum over to alt stuff, and the alt season now is not going to be shit coins; it's going to be metaverse.
Right. Yeah. So if you were if you were going to invest in certain specific altcoins, you would probably shoot for the ones that are tied directly to the metaverse.
Yes, exactly. I would do some Terra coins, ADA, Mana, which is Decentraland's coin, and then Sand, which is Sandbox's coin. Those all are going to be pumping hard because ADA, they just came out with their NFT exchange, or not just came out, but it's getting more momentum in the community right now. Sand, it's Sandbox's cryptocurrency, and Mana is also Decentraland's cryptocurrency. So those three are going to be pumping huge, I think, here in the next couple weeks.
I tell you what. So on Sunday's shows, let's go look at the actual charts for these coins, so we can get some technical analysis to see when would be a really good time to buy, or if it's already a little too late and we need to jump on board.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. See how it's done this week.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this Friday's show. We really appreciate all the love, the mad support, and we will see you guys Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Keaton's Corner, and then we'll be right back here Monday morning, 9:15, same time, same place, to see what the market's going to be doing next week. Till next time, AMF.